You're watching Virginia This Morning.
As we age and are living longer, the ideal is to do it in good health and of sound mind. But that isn't always the case, and many of us may at some point become responsible for the care of a parent or parents. But you also have to take care of yourself. Carolyn Brent is an advocate and author of The Caretaker's Companion, which contains a lot of great information. And Carolyn is here with us today. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. The subtitle on this book is Caring for Your Loved One Medically, Financially, and Emotionally While Caring for Yourself. That's a big umbrella.
It's huge. And Cheryl, every single day here in America, we get up, we go to school, we go to work, we have a routine, we're doing everything. We're getting our degrees, we are literally becoming doctors, attorneys, you name it, mothers, we're planning for weddings. But when was the last time a person had that sudden and unexpected telephone call? And then they go into this shock like, oh my God, I gotta go to the hospital. That's what the Caregiver's Companion is all about, is preparing medically, financially, and legally, but you gotta take care of yourself when you're a caregiver.
And one of the most important things that I found in here is that there's a lot of answers to questions that come up that you don't even know you had that question.
Absolutely. One of the key questions, a lot of people think you gotta be old before you prepare for end of life. And I say, well, what is old? I'm 59 years old, and that's old, but not in today's standards. Mm-hmm. However, over 45% of the US population, they don't have anything in place for end of life. So people are actually living longer, but not necessarily in the best of health. But what if, let's say that someone's going to school or something, they accidentally get into a really catastrophic accident, and you go to the hospital, the first thing they're gonna ask, besides insurance, who's your medical proxy? Who has the ability to do your end of life, or what are your final wishes? If you don't have anything in place, Cheryl, if you're over the age of 21 and you don't have anything in place, you're saying, state, make all my medical decisions for me. I don't think anyone wants a stranger from the state to make end of life choices for them. So I'm an advocate. Get all your things in writing legally. Do all the paperwork. And I got to tell you, caregiving becomes really easy when you prepare emotionally, financially, and legally, because one thing about it, we're all going to pass away someday. We're all going to do it. We just don't know when our time is going to come or how. But when you do the paperwork first, I tell you, end of life becomes a piece of cake, because then you know the family could get together and they could create legacy for their family name. They could create that legacy, and that's what they want to do.
So these are conversations that we need to have now, not only with our loved ones, but with ourselves.
Absolutely, because people are always saying, oh, Carolyn, I really should have bought your book 5 years ago when I was going through my caregiving years. And I'm going, oh no, you need that book for yourself now. Because the reason why I wrote the book, Cheryl, there wasn't anything on the market to talk about how do you prepare emotionally, how do you prepare financially, how do you prepare legally, how do you prepare, period. So I had to go through all of these, twists and turns, and you name it, I went through it. And then I interviewed over 1,500 caregivers worldwide, and I asked the same question: if you could be a caregiver all over again, what would you do differently? They all said, at least 98% of them said, I take better care of myself. So how do you take care of yourself? First of all, educate yourself on end of life. If your loved one has a chronic disease, learn all you can. There's internet, there's so many different ways to learn about the chronic disease or the illness that your loved one has. Number one, knowledge is power, so knowledge yourself. Number two, connect with other caregivers worldwide. There's so many caregiving organizations out there that's not gonna make you depressed, like, oh my goodness, my mom is sick. They're gonna empower you with the knowledge. Caregiverstory.com, I created that, and it's nothing but a national and international caregiving portal with free information, like how do you get paid to be a caregiver? There's a lot of how do you get free medications from the big pharmaceuticals.
There's a lot of great information here.
Absolutely.
Carolyn Brent, we could talk all day.